So in Yoga Nidra, all you need to do is listen to my voice. It's a completely guided meditation, and my voice becomes the anchor. That's the only thing that's needed, the only place that your attention needs to rest during the session. And it's quite a specific practice. It follows quite a set structure, and the structure is basically created to bring about a deep state of relaxation in the body. It's a bit like the state that you go into just before you fall asleep. You know, when your body is just not moving anymore, but you still get these wisps of thoughts and consciousness coming through your mind. And that's really the space we go into with Yoga Nidra. It actually methodically goes around the body and helps relax each part of the physical body. And then that helps us drop into more of a subconscious space, which is why we set what's called a sankalpa in Yoga Nidra, or an intention, because it's really known as a kind of fertile space for manifesting and for inviting intention into our life. But that aside, I think the reason I really wanted to offer this during this time is because Yoga Nidra is very supportive for the nervous system, which I think at any time we all need, but especially in these last weeks where, the whole world, and as we know, it has changed. And that on a very fundamental level is ungrounding and what would be the word? Kind of agitating for our nervous system. So this is a little pause in your day, in your life. It's a beautiful act of self-care, self-nurturing, choosing to come into this space and care for yourself in this way, in a way that doesn't require anything of you but to rest. It's sort of the difference between doing maybe a HIIT training. The Yoga Nidra, they're all self-care, but they have slightly different energies behind them. For anyone who's done a HIIT training during this lockdown, I haven't, just by the way. It would take more than Armageddon to get me to a HIIT training. So we're going to come and lie down. Well, you are. I'm going to stay here and talk to you. And I'd love for you to find a really comfortable position. So traditionally, the option is to lie in a shavasana. And a shavasana is the final pose that you come into in a yoga practice. It's lying on your back. Normally the feet are a bit wider than hip distance apart, and the hands are a bit wider than your mat would be, if you can imagine that. So you want this idea of the arms just moving away from the body. And it's really helpful to create a space that you're not touching anything else. That kind of messes with the circuits in our brain if we're touching like a wall, or there's something touching our hands or feet. You might want to, I don't know what the weather's like in England today, but be cozy. So I can see Vanessa's got a blanket and looks mega comfy there. So you might want a blanket. If you are covering yourself with a blanket, another thing is to make sure that your feet, there's no bit of you poking out other than, your chest and your head, because again, that just creates like a stimulus in the body. So that's one option. You might be lying on your bed. It doesn't work for everyone lying on their backs. That doesn't feel really comfortable. It's not great if there's things going on in the back. So you might lie on your side. You might lie on your side, even with like a bolster between your thighs. That's something that can be really helpful for those that have hip and back problems when they're sleeping at night. And it's the same for Yoga Nidra. Not everybody finds ease in lying down. So just take these moments to attend to yourself. And that's the word I always use, attending. And I love the kind of quality of that word when we're talking about caring for ourselves. Attending, really stepping up, showing up, and thinking, what can I do right now, be it emotionally, physically, energetically, for this to be the kindest, the most loving, the most nurturing option for me. in my mind, it's always like tucking in a little kid, like a little person. You just want them to be so comfy and so safe and so cozy. And we're kind of doing that for ourselves. If we imagine we're all tucking in our little children, our inner children right now, for adults version of bedtime story. Okay, beautiful. And let's just take 5 breaths, just as a way of arriving and kind of letting the energy to settle. I just want us at the end of the 5th breath to move through some practices just to support this relaxation, this settling of the nervous system. So the first one, with the eyes closed, just taking the eyes over to the left. So keep the head in the same position, but the eyes move as if gazing to your left shoulder, and hold them there for a moment. As you can see, that makes me yawn. It always makes me yawn. And that's because this is a magic trick for calming our nervous system. And so it's a great one to practice when you get into bed at night. You can bring the eyes to center and then take them over to the right side. Hold there for a moment. And you might also notice a yawn. Even if you don't, you might just understand the intention of this to calm the nervous system. Eyes come back to the center. And now for the next few breaths, just notice the inhalation. Notice the length of the inhalation. Let that be your only focus at this moment. As you inhale, you might notice that there's a rhythm. Often that rhythm is for a count of 3 or 4. And once you find your own rhythm, I'd love for you to explore a longer exhalation. So if inhaling for 3, you might exhale up to 6. If inhaling for 4, up to 8. That might feel a bit too much. You don't want to be forcing the breath. So find the option that feels gentle and flowing and soft for you, but which combines this steady count of the inhale with a steady, longer count of the exhale. And know that a longer exhale, just a little bit of information, sends a physiological message to calm the nervous system. So again, really simple practices which effectively settle and can bring about change in our physiology, an expression of safety. And safety is what allows us the permission to actually to settle, to stop, to be. These gestures have such a quality of love to them when we turn them towards ourselves. And you might even find that on those longer exhales that you feel drawn to allow a sigh on that longer exhale. So it might become a inhaling through the nose, Sighing through the mouth. There might even be some sound. Sound also calms our nervous system. There might be this sound of and it's almost, if you can visualize this sense with every release of the exhale, almost just of releasing the steam so that you gently almost can float down to the earth, into the support of the earth, held in this loving space, a space that demands nothing of you. You don't need to be a certain way. You don't need to do a single thing. This is a momentary pause when I will hold this space for you so that you can find a possibility of surrender, release, of letting go. Just letting that settle in the body, noticing how that feels, that permission from me, may that be met by permission from you to receive. Just checking in with your physical position, your body, and noticing if you feel comfortable, if you feel able to remain in stillness, if possible, for this practice. Otherwise, any small adjustments that you need to settle. And in these first few moments of the practice, take time to listen. Listen to the sounds around you. Listen to the inner sounds of the body and the breath. Feel like you're listening with the entire body, not just the ears hearing, but the whole body, to sensation, to feeling. You're sensing the atmosphere too, the space around your body. As you open into the experience of listening, feel yourself opening up to the experience of everything as it is. No resistance. Letting go of resistance. This attitude of welcoming is the essence of Yoga Nidra. And we'll return to this again and again throughout the practice. Take a moment now to reflect on an intention for this practice. What do you need today? What would best serve your experience? Perhaps your experience right in this moment, perhaps this experience at this time in your life. And this may arrive as a question to explore, or your intention might be really clear. You may have an intention to feel yourself as this welcoming, this surrender to the inner and outer life. Or perhaps to explore a particular sensation, emotion, thought, or belief. You may wish to touch your deep underlying nature of stillness and presence, Or you may simply wish to rest and let go and feel safe, relaxed, secure, and at ease. Take some moments now to find, clarify, and be with your intention. And as you take time now to find and reflect on intention, you may naturally call up or stumble upon deeper desires. Take a moment to reflect. What fills your heart with joy, with love? Is there a code? Is there something meaningful to you by which you'd wish to live your life by? What do you want most for yourself in this lifetime? Perhaps a wish for integrity, authenticity, freedom, compassion. Maybe acceptance and surrender. Maybe self-acceptance. Take some time now to find your own language and feelings that describe your heart's deepest longing to you. And as the truth of this longing arrives, you can think, or rather you can give up thinking about it and allow yourself to have this as a feeling, a living experience. The feeling of this heart longing living in you in this moment, as if it were already true. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel how gravity acts upon your body. Feel how the surface that you're resting on rises up to meet you and hold you. Can you feel how in this moment you're safe? You may wish to stay with this first-hand feeling of being grounded, feelings of safety and ease, or you may wish to journey with me to create these feelings through memory, images, and associations. Reflect for a moment on a place that you love to be in, a place in nature, a house, or a room in which you feel safe. It could be from memory or created as fantasy. Just see what comes up for you. It may also help to reflect on people that you trust, who you can be authentic with or support your own vulnerability. People who give you feelings of safety and well-being. They may be friends or loved ones, archetypal figures, people of fame or history who you respect and trust. Maybe a teacher, maybe someone in your life who has played a really important role. And you may choose to weave in other feelings or memories that bolster this feeling of safety and ease. Now let go of the thinking and memories and images and feel down into your body and live in these feelings of peace and ease that you have created. Begin now to take your attention into the mouth, to notice the feeling of the tongue, the floor of the mouth, the insides of the cheek, both left and right, the roof of the mouth, and the feeling of spaciousness, like a cave inside the mouth. Trace and follow that feeling of spaciousness back into the throat, Feel into the walls of the throat, noting any tensions that may be living there. Allowing the attention to move inside the ears. Attention dividing now left and right. Feeling inside both ears simultaneously. Feel into the folds and valleys of the outer ears and be aware of the sensation of the cheeks and touch of air on the skin of the cheeks. Feeling of the nose and the sensation of breath passing through the nostrils. Be aware of the eyes. Feel the left eye first, the sensation of all the muscles and that which surrounds the eye, and then the feeling of the eye itself. Then move to the opposite side, again feeling around the eye, and then the eye itself. Feel both eyes together. Giving up thinking and just feeling a sense of radiance, of aliveness here, as if the eyes could see in all directions simultaneously. Let the attention then move back inside the head, just feeling. Aware of the eyebrows and the forehead. Sensing any unnecessary tension here. The top of the head, the back of the head, back of the neck. Take a moment now to feel the entire head and mouth, throat, ears, cheeks, nose, eyes, inside the head, top of the head, back of the head, all coming together and felt at the same time. The whole head becomes this feeling of aliveness, a dance of life. Bring attention over into the left shoulder and shoulder blade now. Sending down the outside of the upper arm, the outside of the elbow, outer forearm, wrist, back of the hand. Feel the fingers and the thumb and the palm of the hand, giving up thinking and just feeling the palm, the fingers, the back of the hand. Bring attention up through the inside of the forearm, inner crease of the elbow, upper arm, inside, and the feeling of the warmth of the armpit. And then move attention over to the opposite shoulder, feeling the right shoulder and shoulder blade, outside of the upper arm, the outer elbow, the outer forearm, wrist, the back of the right hand, all of the fingers, palm of the hand. Feel the palm, the fingers, the back of the hand, giving up thinking and allowing attention to just live here in the sensation of the hand. Come to the feeling of the inner forearm, inner elbow, inside of the upper arm, and the warmth of the armpit. Come to feel both hands simultaneously. Every cell of the hands comes into awareness. Bring attention to the throat, to the nape of your neck, sensing down into the feeling of the chest, the ribs, the side ribs, and the feeling of your upper back and mid back. Bring attention down to feel the lower portion of the torso, the abdomen, belly, side waist, lower back. Sense down into the pelvis. Feel the pelvis as a bowl or as a container full of sensation. Feel the pelvic floor, front wall of the pelvis, back of the pelvis, sacrum, tail, and the two side walls. Currents of sensation moving through the pelvis. Sense into the left hip. Feeling of the left hip becoming the thigh. Attention moving down through the leg. Streaming down through the feeling of the knee, foreleg, calf, ankle, and the left foot. Attention moves to the right hip. Feeling of the right hip. Feeling of the thigh through the knee, foreleg, calf muscle, ankle, and the right foot. Take time now to bring all of those sensations together. Feeling the head, arms, hands, torso, pelvis, legs, and feet. And as all of those sensations come together, let yourself be really absorbed. Let the mind relax from any thinking. Just feel. Feel into the space immediately surrounding your body. And take a moment now as you feel both the body and the space surrounding the body, and noticing, where does this feeling of the body end and where does the space around you begin? And you can take a moment to feel how this experience of sensation is appearing within awareness. Take a moment to feel back into this quality of being aware of how the body is appearing within your presence. And just noticing for a moment what it feels like to be this presence. Quality of being. Allow the attention now to move back into the body and to notice the breath. No need for any particular type of breathing. Just allowing the body to breathe itself. Letting go of control and just watching as the breath comes and goes. Maybe associated feelings. Feelings of perhaps the ribs expanding and contracting. The abdomen responding to the breath. And also the transitions in the breath. The moments when the breath turns around in a new direction. Can you observe here? Are there moments of stillness? Or does the breath feel more like a continuous cycle and flow? Notice also how there may be currents of sensation accompanying the feeling of breath, and the breathing may relate to subtle sensations in other parts of the body. And then, as a practice of presence, begin to count down from 10 to 1. Each time you exhale, counting down, breathing out 10, breathing out 9, and so on. If you find yourself becoming distracted without giving yourself a hard time, just begin once again at 10. And if you make it down to 1, again, returning to 10. And then let go of the breath count. Again, so we're just in the feeling of the breath. You might like to follow the inhalation as a sensation that enters through the nose, through the nostrils, down through the throat, down into the pit of the belly. And how the exhalation moves back up in that reverse direction and out through the nostrils. So you're feeling 2 points, one in front of the nostrils, another deep down in the pit of the belly. And just allowing the attention to move between these 2 points at exactly the speed of the breath. You may notice also the transitions of the moments where you reach the end points of your inhale and exhale, allowing yourself to perhaps feel moments of spaciousness here as the breath prepares to turn in a new direction. Noting any tensions that may be living in the throat. Any tensions living in the pit of the belly. You can continue to follow the breath in this way if you're enjoying it or feeling engaged. Or you can start now to allow the attention to start to gather around the space of the heart. The feeling that the breath comes in from all directions simultaneously, landing energetically in the heart. And on the exhale, the energy of the breath moves out into every cell. The feeling of inhalation gathering at the heart. The feeling of the exhalation moving out into every cell of the body. Even moving out into the space immediately surrounding the body. Take a moment to feel back into this quality of being aware. And just noting for a moment what it feels like to be this presence. Quality of being, your awareness. The awareness that has been moving through the body, the breath, the emotions, and the mind now turned upon itself. What is the quality of this awareness? Can you define it? Can you give it a name or an age or a particular location? Really feel back into the quality of this experience of awareness, being, or presence, to see if you can find a boundary, a limit to it, or a location, a place where awareness is coming from. And as you're resting back into this quality of pure being, is there anything you could do now to improve upon this feeling? Is there anything you could know or have to enhance this simple experience? Can you find a quality of time or space in this moment? Really feel now how this witnessing, this presence has no need for you to do, have, or know anything. How it feels timeless and spacious. Live here now for some moments, just resting and not knowing, not having, not doing. Take a moment now to be aware once again of this feeling of your body, of the breath, feeling the quality of your inner world, your inner experience, and then feel out into the space surrounding your body, into the atmosphere surrounding you in the room, not thinking, but feeling your way. Then draw attention once again into the inner world, this feeling of the microcosm, the feeling of all these experiences moving through awareness. And then the attention moving out, feeling out around you in all directions. Feeling of the macrocosm. Our awareness knows no boundaries. Then see if you can feel both together. Everything inside, everything outside. Allowing boundaries and separation to dissolve. Very deep experience of just being. Even the quality of I-ness, of personalness dissolving. A witnessing vast and spacious. Reflect back on your journey now. Experiences of body and breath, sensations, emotions, thoughts, and beliefs, and this quality of being, of presence, of witnessing. Find out if a new intention arises, or how this practice may bring you back to your heart's desire, your deepest longing. As you prepare to come back into this life, this day, you may wish to see yourself going about life, but now your identity, your awareness is orientated towards this feeling of being, of presence, and the equanimity and peace that you associate with it. Taking some moments now to connect into the physical body, moving toes and fingers and allowing any actions that feel helpful, supportive to awaken your body. Maybe there's a stretching of the arms and keeping the eyes closed. So you find your way to your side and pause there. There's no rush. So you might just lie on your side for a moment, the knees perhaps tucked all the way up into the body in this kind of creating a ball of your body, a reclined cosmic ball, an embrace. And then taking your time without rushing, slowly coming to your meditation sleep, your meditation seat rather. Very slowly. Meditation sleep, meditation seat. Same. Bring the hands to prayer at the heart and close the eyes. I just want to share this Gaelic blessing, which I shared a few weeks ago, but I just love it so much. It's very simple blessing, a wish. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the running waves to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the infinite space to you. Gently bowing your head to this practice, to these teachings, and the final integration of the practice. May we take it from the mat out into our life, remembering this deep peace that exists always within us, the center that is always there. In your own time, gently opening your eyes. Namaste. So that's that final quote is one from the boards that we have on our retreats in Ibiza. And I just really love it, that Gaelic blessing. I want to just share, because each of these yoga nidras that I offer every week have different sources. Some of them are from the traditional source, and some of them I kind of work to create, and sometimes I use other people's nidras that have been created. So just to honor that one, this is from a lovely couple who have run a company called Restful Being, and they focus purely on yoga nidras, and they have beautiful nidras. So I just want to honor and name that. And they actually have a really lovely book as well called The Book of Rest, which I also really recommend. Can you think of anything lovelier than reading a book which is all about how to rest? So The Book of Rest, I recommend that. So thanking them for their inspiration as well. I'm going to stop the recording.